Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Thank you for joining me this morning, guys. Big thanks to this community. You guys are so amazing, so amazing. I was on the Into the Weeds podcast earlier tonight, and we had so much fun. Please check that out. That was so everything was organic. It was so fun. We poked about Fancy Macelli, April Johns, and yeah, we had a really good time. Alora put out some videos about April Johns that are hysterical, and I met some new people that were interested in sports, but we didn't talk about sports. And I thought it was just such a great panel, and everything seriously was just so organic that it was really fun. So please check that out. And then I found myself on Morbid's live. And every time I get on Morbid's live, almost every time I get on Morbid's live, something goes down. Like one time my internet went out and my computer shut down last night in the middle of it. Anyway, so, but I got to tell you, on Morbid's panel, very important, Morbid was talking about justice for Nick. And that's what I want to talk about. But I do want you to please check out Into the Weeds podcast because that was just hysterically fun. And seriously, just be careful about anything hot because there was many times I almost lost what was in my mouth. So, and the Morbid, as always, a great group of nobodies doing everything. There you go. So, justice for Nick. I don't know what that looks like for everybody, and I'm sure it looks different. I am not trying to say that Nick should be out. I don't want the responsibility of saying, yep, I vouch for him, he should be out. But I think that the judge should decide. And Nick has true mitigating circumstances. This country doesn't give away anything. I have friends, I'm a very big age now, and I have friends that are trying to get disability that have legitimate health issues that are like organs are being destroyed in their body, and they can't. And they might have one more year before they get Social Security, and they can't get disability. Like, come on. Yet Nick was on permanent disability, so our government looked at this young guy and said, yeah, he's not going to be able to work and support a family or support himself for the rest of his life. He's always going to need assistance. He's always going to need help. So that's who Gypsy found. That's who Gypsy was looking for. Okay. Nick went on a dating site. He was looking for love and companionship. That's when Gypsy found him. Now, I want to tell you something. I was talking with somebody today who has autism, and I'm not going to put them out there, but what they said to me made me understand, and it broke my heart. I was talking about April Johns and how, I had like this gut instinct about how, why I didn't want to collab with her or do anything with her. And that person said, well, that that intuition, that instinct, we don't have that. I count on that tool. That's a survivor's skill tool that I keep in my toolbox. It's one of the most important tools that I've got to survive in this world. I never, ever thought that there are people that didn't have it. Think about that. Let that sink in. Think about that. To not have the gut instinct of that warning where, oh, maybe they're not right. Maybe that person's not safe for me. I'm not saying everybody with autism has that, but I'm saying that the person that spoke to me said that they had it, and that's a very common, unfortunate symptom of autism is that you don't have the instinct or the intuition to know that person might not have the best intentions. You take them for their word. You know what I'm saying? We see a relationship between Gypsy and Nick that is so manipulative on Gypsy's behalf. The pulling close and pushing away and pulling close. This, once she had him hooked, she jerked him around, you know? And that is coercive control. That's what that is. And she talked him into unaliving her mom by telling him many things. And among some of those speculative things and many unspeculative things are that that was the only way that they could be together. Her mom was abusing her. Her mom would never let her out of the wheelchair in front of anybody. Her mom threatened that she would never leave the house. Her mom threatened the life of the baby that she was carrying by the insertion of a feeding tube. Therefore, she lost Nick's and her daughter. She played Nick so that he didn't know if he was coming or going. And she convinced him the only way that they could ever be together and have this wonderful life is if they unalive her mom. Now, Gypsy could have left at any time. Dee Dee, we see how big she was. She wasn't chasing her daughter anywhere. She wasn't chasing her daughter down. At the very worst, if you want to believe Gypsy, which I couldn't tell you why, you'd think she's 19 years old. That's the youngest she could be in her mind. But she's actually about 24 years old, which I think she already knows. But at least she knows she's old enough that she could leave. Why doesn't she? Why doesn't she just leave? Why did her mom have to go out like that? You know, Nick said, and he stands by, well, Gypsy said that the reason why was because that was the most fast and painless way to go. Really? That's the most, like, all those pills that are inside of the medicine cabinet there, you couldn't just give her those, Gypsy? You couldn't do that? Or the insulin? You couldn't just, like, poking holes in somebody so many times, you think that that's... And when they asked Nick, well, why do you think? He said, well, I guess the faster she would, bleed out. Gypsy got the weapon, sent money for him, wrote letters to Nick's parents. Don't worry, I'll take care of him, knowing what he was going to be doing there for her. But so she lied to his parents who were worried. She buys or steals everything for him. The bus tickets, everything for him. The only thing she doesn't buy is her bus ticket to go back with him. See, Nick was looking for love and companionship. Gypsy was looking for somebody to do exactly what he did. It took her 2 years to talk him into doing this. 2 years to talk him into doing this relentlessly with the game playing. Nick was a kid who was sharing his music online and dancing like a nerd and looking a little nerdish, because he was awkward, lanky, goofy looking, just this innocent kid who was awkward. I don't think Nick was supposed to leave the house that night. I think that he was supposed to leave the same way Dee Dee. I think my theory is it was meant to look like it was a home invasion. Nick was supposed to be the perpetrator of that, and he was supposed to lose his life the same way that Dee Dee was losing her life. It was supposed to look like, in my opinion, that he just got killed in the act of what he was doing, and that Gypsy was just long gone. They'd never find her. But they wouldn't be looking for Gypsy. You guys know that. They'd be looking for a girl in a wheelchair who either had yellow wigs and or her head was shaved. Not for a young woman who could walk, and, everything was fine. So that's what I think. And I think after a while, they would have just figured, oh, well, that girl who was sick, so sick anyway, yeah, she's probably DEAD'd. We wouldn't find her. That's what I think was supposed to happen that night. But I think that the person that was supposed to help Gypsy with this, because, see, Nick never lied. Nick, 4 times he poked her. 4 times. 17 times she was poked. I'm not trying to insult Nick, but I think that she messed with his head so much so at that scene, that horrific scene that night, that she convinced him that he unalived her mom. But I think she was already gone and or on the way out. That's what I think. And I think that the person that was there originally to take Gypsy away and be with them said, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. And they left Gypsy there to go and be with Nick, which wasn't something she ever planned on doing, because though she got everything, she never got herself a ticket out. She didn't get a ticket. She got him a return ticket, Nick, but she didn't get her ticket to go with Nick, because they had to stay an extra day and then go together. So somebody that planned everything, did everything, planned and did everything, except get her ticket out. She wasn't supposed to go with Nick. Nick thought so, but that wasn't supposed to happen. I believe that Nick, again, was supposed to leave with Dee Dee, just in a smaller bag. Yep. And let me tell you something else. Gypsy went on stand and said that Nick never essayed her. And then in a book that Gypsy just put out, she spun a narrative that Nick is some sort of monster. Guys, Nick didn't know anything about BDSM, about role-playing or anything. That came from Gypsy. That was proven because of Dan Glidewell saying on stand, okay, that, and their relationship was before. It was prior to her relationship with Nick. So, though there's a lot of things that have come out now about Nick that are damning, we haven't seen them in the context that would be fair. And the only way to see that is to show them all from all the platforms, because they might have started a conversation on the phone, texting, but that conversation might have continued on to a platform online. And if we only get bits and pieces of things, it is really hard to look at it fairly. So, but we do know that the role playing and all of that happened previous to her ever meeting Nick. So she brings up that Nick did that. And that's not the case. He didn't introduce her to that. And, this is stuff like that the judge doesn't know. That was never brought, it wasn't fair. It just, and certainly the public doesn't know it. And that's an important issue. And that's where content creators, again, become responsible for what they put out there. Because the perception of somebody is very important, because they want their right perception put out there. So you have to have the right perception of other people, at least a fair perception, let people. Yeah, well, we know a content creator that did not do that, and I will continue on about that later. Justice for Nick is more important right now. In Gypsy's new book, she's making Nick look so bad. She's trying to change the whole perception about him because he has one more shot at something. One more shot, and she's trying to take that away from him. Nick should be her hero because he did exactly what she talked him into doing for 2 years. So why is she not talking to him? Why is she making up lies about him? Gypsy, why? And why are people listening to it when they see that she says one thing on stand and something else in a book? Why? And you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there. Ken, why? Raina, read the book. Why? 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 This is the mother of your grandchild. This is your baby's mama. Why? In her new book, she is making him look so bad. She's just making Nicholas look so bad. And she's trying to keep everybody stum. And we can't let that happen. These letters to the judge, whatever you think as far as what justice for Nick looks like for you, let the judge decide. But let him decide on the true facts, not on Gypsy's fake shit. And April Johns, I hate the fact that you are partially responsible for some of us getting here so late. Because you've known this for so long. Because you've had all the paperwork. So shame on you. Shame on you. You want to call yourself an investigative reporter and all this stuff, and that you're some sort of behavioral special, whatever the crap your fake schooling has to do with. And you couldn't figure out when you get something so wrong as what's going on with Nick that you couldn't, 6 months ago, say, hey, guys, no. You got to blame everybody for why you don't show up and jump on everybody else's bandwagon and claim that we're here. I mean, listen, if you want to take credit because we're all here because of you, we're all late because of you. We're all late because of you. April Johns. And my son agrees. Guys, please, write a letter. I'm putting the information up here. And just, be honest of what you think. Don't bash Gypsy. You can't bash Gypsy. But I have a lot of parents reaching out to me and saying that they're afraid that this could happen to their child. And that's real. That is real. And I want it to sink in. This intuition that we have, this gut feeling that we have, that we count on, that protects us, that we feel confident in. When somebody doesn't have that, what is that like? And when somebody sees that they don't have it and they play that person and just decide that their life has no meaning. So, let's just use them, because that's what happened here. Guys, I wanted to share this because it's really important. It's really important. Don't forget, Morbid was talking about this on Morbid's Live last night, and Into the Weeds podcast. That was a really fun time. That's a great laugh. I hope that we could do that again. And happy belated birthday, but I was there anyway. Happy birthday, Amber. Into the Weeds podcast. And guys, please, those of you seriously that cannot get to a post office or do not have a stamp and an envelope and can't make this happen, and not out of laziness, guys, please, just because you can't, then email me the letter and I'll put it in an envelope and I'll put a stamp on it and mail it. But I'm busy too, so please, if you can do it, great. If for some reason you can't, if you're disabled, if you can't, if you don't have the money for the envelope or the stamp, or then please send me the email and I'll print it out and I'll send it. Okay, guys? And you can email it to me at toddy1skip@gmail.com. Guys, I'd really appreciate this. We have an amazing community. They have 33 letters. We could do better than that. Can't we? All right, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind. Thanks.
Nick, because he's running out of a lot of options at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like the time is ticking, and yeah, he doesn't have much time left, and it's unfortunate. So hopefully something can be done.
We found out because I had spoken to some people, that they just have to be postmarked by the 1st of February. So
Even
the
if it's
latest
snail mail?
snail mail, they had the postmark has to be before February 1st. And that I just found out a few hours ago. So I want to just let everybody know that.